Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel today. So, JD Vance, I believe he's Deputy Prime Minister over in America, has made a speech where he basically said the biggest threat to the UK is not Russia, which I personally agree. I don't think they are a massive threat. There's elements that they are a threat to us, but not a massive threat. But the biggest threat to the UK is the erosion of free speech and mass immigration. So, fundamental question is he correct? Now, for somebody who doesn't live in this country, may have spent time over here in the past, I can't say yes or he hasn't. I haven't actually asked him. Okay, but is he correct? I would suggest he is. Because one of the biggest talking points, and it's something, I speak about on one of the other channels that I do a bit on, which is Borderline. So if you want to check it out, we talk about immigration, visas, all that type of stuff on a daily basis. And I see the comments that people put to me that people are scared of the facts of mass immigration. It's like yesterday, I was chatting to a friend and we spoke about how many people came in the last quarter. We basically did it, I think it was from the beginning of November to the end of January. Because the argument we were trying to find out is illegal immigration going down in the UK? They keep on saying, the Labour Party keep on saying that they're doing a fantastic job. They deported more people since they came into power than the Conservatives did in the same time frame. Okay, that may be the case. Because I think the figure that they banded about was about 4,000 people they deported. And then we decided, right, what we'll do is we'll take a look over a 3-month period. Now, their period was 6 months. So it's July until January. So it's just over 6-month period. We looked at a 3-month period. And we found that over 8,000 people came in that 3-month period. It's over 8,000. And then we worked out potentially how much they were going to cost, for how much they would potentially get in benefits. And we worked out, because for those who don't know, the average time that it takes for somebody's case to go through and to get an answer if they apply for asylum is 9 months. So we worked out for them, it's just over 8,000. That's £12 million that it costs the taxpayer. And that's not taking into account if they're being put up in a hotel or a hostel, whatever, and then the priority treatment for medical treatment at hospitals and dentist practice, and if you want to go down the route of GB News on one of their tangents, lawyers, if they decide they want to sue the government over something, there's enough of that stuff going about. So this is something that people are fundamentally concerned about. So I understand that. And then when you come to the argument of free speech, do we actually have free speech in this country? Have we ever had free speech in this country? I don't believe we do. I don't believe we've ever had free speech in this country. People talk about us having it, but I don't actually honestly believe in my lifetime we've really ever had free speech. So, by what VD Vance has said, I think he's correct that Russia is not the biggest threat to the UK. Biggest threat to the UK is the erosion of free speech. Because you've got to be so careful what you say in case you upset somebody because they don't agree with what your personal opinion is, whether it's political, whether it's some kind of stupid little joke. and people ain't got a sense of humour nowadays. You know, go back to say 70s or 80s, some of the sexist innuendos, you know, all them kind of comics like your Bernard Mannings and all of those, you know, they wouldn't be able to have careers now because of our jokes. Didn't mean that they were sexist or racist, really. It's just what got a laugh or a giggle. You know, Jim Davidson's a classic example. Okay, so from that, yeah, I'd say he's correct on that. Now, mass immigration. No, like I said, it is something I've spoken about a lot. Is there anything that can be done about it? Yeah, there is. Have politicians willing to do anything about it? I don't think so. If I'm going to be brutally honest, and it is my duty on this channel to be honest about it, have they got interest in resolving the issue? I don't believe so. Whether that's the Tory benches, whether that's the Labour benches, doesn't really matter. They have no interest in doing it. But there's going to be those of you who are going to say, yeah, but what about reform? The one thing I can say about reform is the closer Nigel Farage comes to whether getting more politicians in or coming closer potentially to power at the next election. He may win an election, he may well not. I would probably predict he probably won't, because I see him as one-horse ponies that can only speak about one thing, which is illegal immigration and the European Court of Human Rights. You know, he fundamentally can't talk about anything else. Now, pulling us out of the European Court of Human Rights, would it solve the problem? Unfortunately, in my view, no, it won't. Because the reality is, if somebody comes to this country, and this is the law as far as I'm aware, under international law, okay, you have to send them to their home country, which means you have to find out where their home country is. So just because somebody crosses over from Calais and lands at Dover doesn't mean you send them back to France. You can't send them back to France. You've got to find out where they actually come from. And anybody with any brains is going to ditch their passport, which means we're lumbered with them until we can find out where they come from. So it's a bigger problem than the likes of Nigel Farage likes to make it out to be, unfortunately. And that's the reality of the case. So, will Nigel Farage be the answer? I don't think so. Will pulling out of the European Court of Human Rights be the answer? No, I don't think so. I think we need to come up with a solution which is going to be bigger than just beating the boats. So, let us know what you think. Is JD Vance correct? Is he wrong? Let us know in the comments down below. But for now, thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you again a bit later.